And we're live on YouTube. Hello, YouTube world. Coral Flora here. And I felt inspired to do a little spontaneous live of playing piano and just chatting with you about these intense times, the coronavirus, worldwide pandemic, so much going on. So I just wanted to play some soothing piano and drink some tea with you and hang out, and hopefully I can bring you some comfort and some healing support and illumination during this time. So yeah, thank you for joining me, two people. What's up? Feel free to leave in the comments, how are you? I literally have no plan for this. So if you want to interact and like co-create this with me, it would be helpful. But yeah, so I think I'm just gonna start by playing a little bit of piano. I am not the most skilled pianist, but my new album actually is no guitar, pretty much all keys or synths. So yeah, I guess it's a part of me that I'm starting to own a bit more. And yeah. So this is actually a piece of a new song called Blooming Darkness. It came to me like 2 years ago in the winter, and I was subletting a place in Toronto, and my mom actually went with me to go drop me off. And it was this really cool place this writer lived in, and she had a keyboard, and I don't know if it was the connection of like her writer's energy in that cocoon and then the piano, and I don't know, but songs started to come through. And this one, Blooming Darkness, it's about, I mean, it's kind of inspired by ayahuasca journeys, or that experience of like doing a psychedelic journey or a shamanic journey or even meditation. No plant medicine's required to have these kinds of experiences. I mean, dreams, there's another experience where it's like, hi, Nina. And feel free to put what your real name is, because all I know is Nina120. But yeah, aloha, nice to see you here. But yeah, so Blooming Darkness was about that experience of like, just like going deep within to that 0 point, or going into that total space of like surrender and openness to spirit or the dark, and then noticing what emerges from it. And I feel like it's important to say that like when I say the dark, I'm speaking to like that cosmic, like the infinite sky at night where the stars shine, this sort of sense of like that sacred darkness, the dark side of the moon, this kind of thing. For me, I feel like it's ultimately benevolent. And I feel like I want to share that, you know, in like holding all of the challenges and all of the dark stuff that we go through here on earth, that all of that too can ultimately be benevolent. And I know for me with this song, this Blooming Darkness song, oh, Rachel, awesome. So this Blooming Darkness song, I've been listening to it thinking about this whole coronavirus thing, and I've noticed that, like, I mean, with music, it's so mystical. There's so many different ways you can look at it. It's art, right? I mean, it's all open to our own perspectives and our own interpretation. And as I've been listening to Blooming Darkness, it's been making me think about right now, this coronavirus and the collective shadows that are coming up. And I know for a lot of us, it's like our nervous systems have been hijacked, where suddenly it's like, we're like, whoa, what's happening? We might die. What about finances? The world's changing. Everybody's nervous. And like, there's this collective panic where we're in this collective, like fight or flight, or, you know, or freeze or whatever, or fly. And for those of us who already have PTSD or anxiety, it's even, you know, it's accelerated. But I do feel that this darkness that we're experiencing, and on the note of nervous system, I do feel like it's spiked, but I feel like it's going to chill out in the coming time. And I feel like all the things that we're doing, like whether it's journaling, meditation, talking to friends, chilling out, music, nature, exercise, whatever it is, we're going to, yeah, exactly. People will really tune into themselves and grow through this. Absolutely. Absolutely. And yes, I agree, Rachel. I feel like this is a massive time of healing. Actually, right before coming into this live, I just had a shower, and I was like thinking about how in the past there were situations like this, like war, where suddenly it was like, oh my God, big challenge, everything's going to change. All the men, mostly men, you're going to go to war. Don't face your feelings. Women, also don't face your feelings, deal with shit, take care of the kids, farmers, all this stuff. It was like this kind of call to arms, and it was a disconnect in order to do what needed to be done for those times. But now it's like we're in this interesting thing where it's almost like it makes me think of like a healing, not a healing war, but a massive opportunity where it's like, okay, wow, world's changing, everything's, we might die, we gotta rise to the challenge here. But instead of having to go out and not face our feelings, we have an opportunity to go in and face our feelings and do the inner healing work and do the inner, shadow work and loving work and really coming into connection with who we are and what this all is, so that we can bring our light and our love and our medicine and our health. Because it is a time of healing, whether it's on a physical level with our immunity, but even spiritually. Now we have this time to suddenly go and spend time with ourselves, or our family, or our loved ones, or face our relationships with our own homes. Even that, it can be a challenge curve for people. So sending lots of love. Exactly. When you can't go out, you go in, and I feel like this is the time for that. And I'd like to just send lots of love and healing prayers for anyone out there who's going through a challenging time. Because I will say myself as well, just to be vulnerable and real, because I feel like this is the time for that. I've been going through a lot of anxiety and getting triggered by stuff, and my anxiety being enhanced by other people's energies, and it's been a lot. But I also feel like this is a really strong time of opportunity for all of us to show up, not only to show up for ourselves and of course take care of ourselves, but then when we feel okay, I'm in a good place to share and serve and support, to just go up, show up, whether it's online or in person, just sharing our love and our gifts and our hope and our inspiration with the world, because I feel like it really needs it. I feel like there's so many people who are just oh my God, what's happening? And myself included. It's a time of the mystery, the dark, you could say. And I feel like the more that we can surrender and trust that it is ultimately benevolent, the more that it can work on us, and the magic and the blessings and the medicine will flow through all of it. So on that note, maybe I can, it's bringing us back together. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm in awe. And even though in this moment I'm saying things as if I know anything, truthfully, I don't. I'm just flowing what feels authentic in this moment, because that is what's feeling like it's helping me. And I will say that I've been learning a little bit about the vagal theory. Excuse me. For anyone who knows psychology, I'm sorry that I'm kind of, my words are messed up or whatever, but I've been learning that there is one perspective on trauma, which is the polyvagal theory. And there's the theory that there's these different nerves that regulate us. And I don't know much more science, so I'm just going to say, from a healer perspective, what I do know is I've been learning tools that can help us to heal from that perspective and allow our nervous system to chill out. So one of the big ones is big belly breaths, and so taking time to breathe. That gives, and if you want to let out sounds as well, it helps to give the body the message okay, it's not wartime, it's time to chill and replenish and heal. So I invite you to take some deep, big belly breaths and let out a big ah sound. And notice how that might release some of the tension that you're feeling. I know for me, sound is a big one, and that's another big one that can help with the nervous system and the vagal. I don't know my science. I'm embarrassed, but I'll just say the stuff that works, which is deep belly breath. Singing or sounding is a big one, and especially expressing what's true, or even listening to someone express themselves authentically, whether that's music or videos or podcasts, tuning into that space of we're expressing what's true, and we're expressing love, and we're expressing authentically. It makes a big difference. Amazing. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So I have to say that one of my big medicines that I can offer to the world is music. So if you don't mind some really awkward angles and me revealing, I guess you've always kind of known that I'm kind of just a music nerd. And even though I try to, I feel online sometimes I'll try to put on makeup and look cool and have good lighting and deep down, I feel like, one of my shadows is like, I feel like an awkward nerd sometimes, and I feel too fat or too masculine or like weird sometimes. But I feel like this is a time to just love ourselves and love each other, because it's really through loving those parts of ourselves that we can love each other more. So I'm just gonna play piano looking like a nerd and maybe some weird angles and whatever. I also don't know what I'm playing, so I'm just gonna let it flow. And hopefully this encourages you to share online. And who cares what your blocks are, or whatever you're scared of sharing the world or showing with the world. Excuse me, words. Another one. Blah. If you're nervous about sharing your heart or your truth or your music or your inspiration with the world, or making videos because you think I'm too old or I'm too fat or I'm too this or I'm too that, like, all of you is lovable. All of you is worthy and doesn't have to be perfect. You're just here to be you. Music is so healing. Oh my God. And I find that I personally like journey with music. Like I either I'm like going down an emotional path, or I'll like start to like just tune into spirit. It's like my mind opens up and I release my thoughts, and then it's like things just kind of drop in like dreams, or like a blooming darkness, if you will. It's like opening up to that open space and then seeing what happens. And as I was playing, I was just actually thinking about something. Well, two things. Number one, I invited my mom on this live stream, so I want to play a song for her that she likes. And interestingly enough, I heard that, like, did you know that during the Spanish influenza, that even some of our, like, some famous writers, like Hemingway, I forget, there's some other ones, they experienced quarantine too in south of France, and I'm sure around the world in like 1920s. Again, my facts suck, so please correct me. I'm just kind of like sharing ideas and perspectives, and my own little interpretation. But yeah, they went through something like that. And how interesting is that? And how interesting is the relationship between a quarantine or self-isolation and creativity? Like, how awesome that, like, it's really a beautiful opportunity for us to create. Like, I know for me personally, all winter I was like self-isolating anyways. Like, I was on this mission to make my music. For some reason, I was like, just nose to the grindstone. Like, it was like my mission to just like make this album, and I worked all the time on it. And I pretty much was like kind of isolating, just because I wanted to really focus and cultivate this energy, the medicine of the music. And it's funny that just as I finished the album, it was like, and I was like ready to like start contacting people to plan to meet up and stuff and have my social life back and like get, be more active in that way. All of a sudden it was like, oh, coronavirus, social distancing. So I'm like, oh, no change. Gotta just keep it on. And but yeah, I feel like with this springtime and with this opportunity of quarantine, social distancing and isolation, etc. I need a better word for that. I feel like, again, it's an opportunity to create, whether that's writing or music or art or dance or healing or, whatever it is. It's a good time for us to go within, be with those magical, soulful energies of our essence that flow through when we're open to that blank space, that blank page, that open space of time, that darkness, if you will, the openness of possibilities. You know, and I honor that it can be scary. Like, I will say that from my experience of like doing ayahuasca and stuff like that, like plant medicines, or even just doing a shamanic, again, I'm not here to like say like, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't do anything. Do whatever feels right for you. And I will say that you can access different spiritual states with plant medicines or without. It's not necessary. But I will say from my experience, it's a bit of a shortcut. Like, it can help you get to way higher states or way more deeper states than you could after, you know, with years and years and years of meditation. But that being said, I don't know. We're all doing what we feel like doing here on Earth. But I will say that for me, like, every time going into a shamanic journey or psychedelic journey, there's always fear, because it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to find out now? Like, when I open up to like my feelings and my truth and my spirit or the mystical, mysterious medicine of whatever's going to flow through, it's scary. It's the unknown. And it's humbling. It's humbling because very often journeys like that call us to release layers of ourselves that we thought were who we were. And suddenly realizing, oh, I'm not that anger, and oh, I'm not that shame, and recognizing like, oh, there's something within me that's brighter and lighter and deeper and truer that can shine through now that I've released that. And so like, that's something that I've learned on my healing journey as well. Like, every time I set a pen to paper, or I go to therapy, or I, you know, chat with a friend, or even just with my own reflections through music or meditation or spirit, like, every time that, even if it means I face something dark where I'm like, ugh, that feeling, ugh, like, even if I have to face something like that, if I creatively pour it into something, or I communicate it alchemizes. And then suddenly it's like, oh, that thing isn't me. That was an experience, or that was a perspective. But like I said, there is a part of me that is deeper and brighter and truer and lighter. It sounds like a song. Am I writing a song right now? Yeah. So anyways, I felt like I wanted to dedicate a song to my mom, because it's one of the few songs I know on the piano that I can remember how to play. And she always likes it. And the song is called Pink. And I'd like to dedicate it as well to her cat, Missy, who recently got lost. And bless her soul. Hopefully she's okay wherever she is, whether it's in the spirit world or here. And, you know, she had a little pink nose, kind of like this little doll, actually. And like my cat too, a little pink nose, which to me, pink is the color of unconditional love. And to me, the nose is a symbol for knowing. Like, I knows what I knows. And so it just makes me think of how the deep truth is that we are all unconditionally loved. And I know that. And I wish that so much for all of us, to know how loved we are, how lovable we are. And even as this world challenge happens, this global pandemic and all the change, my wish and prayer is that we all know how loved we are and lovable we are. And no matter what comes up and what shadows come up and what challenges emerge, that we can all just love each other. And like, of course, we honor our truth and communicate what needs to be communicated, but like, love and know that we're all worthy of so much love and forgiveness. And I really feel like it's that love that will bring the tide of change that we're all in to a really beautiful place. So this is dedicated to my mom and Missy. And to all of us, to know how unconditionally loved we are. So this is my cat. This is Luna. She has a little pink nose too. Oh, she's like, what are you doing? Okay, anyways, I'll let her do her thing. But what interesting timing that she came in right there. Yeah. So I'm gonna check the comments here. Same thing, but I was just coming back out of my shell. Yeah, I know. Introverting is yeah, it can be so awesome sometimes, and it can be like so like stir crazy, like But thankfully, I mean, we're not in the time of the Spanish influenza. We're in the time of the coronavirus when we have the internet and we can connect with each other here and connect with inspiration and higher perspectives and support each other. And, you know, even though there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of fear mongering out there, we can also tune into really beautiful higher perspectives and hope and prayer, and like tune into also the good science that's emerging, like the blessings that are of this time. So, yeah, it's exciting, and I'm excited for us all to make the most of it and enjoy this time as much as we can. And yeah, Luna's kind of like, do I want to go in? Do I want to go out? She's a little stir crazy too, I think. Great. Well, does anyone have any questions? Because otherwise, I'm gonna probably end this pretty soon. By the way, do you like this? This was it was a tulip that dried out, actually from flowers that my parents got me for my birthday, which was really nice. And this, I don't know, I thought it looked poetic. It's really poetic. So, yeah. All right. Well, I don't know if I have anything else to share, so I might end this pretty soon unless anyone has a comment or question. Oh, one thing I can say is that, oh, the butterfly, is to check out my new album. I just uploaded a bunch of songs here on YouTube. So if you're interested, take a listen. A lot of it is darker than I've ever gone with music. It's just the way that my soul is evolving, I guess, and the medicine, because to me, ultimately, music is meant to be healing. Thank you, Christine. To me, music is my way of healing, and it's my way of offering healing, or one of the ways. And it's, I saw that you uploaded the song you sang in the tunnel. It made my heart smile. The song that I sang in the tunnel. Which one is that? I totally forget now. That's exciting. Hoop Circle Love Magic. Hi and bye. Nice to see you. Thanks for the unicorn. But man, now I'm like, what tunnel? What tunnel? Cats are the best. Honestly, like, she is my family. Like, well, my family unit in terms of me as an adult woman. I am a cat lady. I'm a cat mom. Although I don't know if I call her my baby, but really it's like she's my companion, my divine soul companion. But yeah. So on my vlog, so interesting. I wonder, yes. Okay, yes. Because yeah, there was a few songs over the years that I, like, little pieces showed up in vlogs, and then I finally kind of wrapped them all up into songs to share. And I have to say, it feels so satisfying to do that. Like, provided for, yes, totally, yeah. It felt satisfying. Like, it's kind of cool that, like, the internet and, like, the mediums of, like, vlogs and all this stuff, like, that I can, you guys can see how the inspiration weaves in, and like, and also how it kind of connects with, like, my life story and your life story, and like where we're all at during these times. It's pretty exciting. But yeah, the provided for, that was one of the big reasons why I wanted to put this album out now, because I could feel that a lot of people are in that space of like, oh my God, like, what if, like, blah, blah, blah. And the what if questions are scary. And I think that it is valuable to consider certain situations and be as prepared as possible. But ultimately, we do have to surrender to the mystery and surrender to the fact that deep down, the universe does love us and we are supported. And I think that the more that we can shift our beliefs and open up our energy and allow that love to flow to and through us as fully as possible, the more that we will be supported and be provided for in bigger and better and ever blossomingly more ways. And I have to say that when I was working on that song, like when I was producing it, it was like heaven. Like some of the, like I added harps and I added some harmonies that when I was working on it, like there were moments when it was like, whoa, like, wow. And I have to say that, like, you know, music and creativity, it's often like that, where like there were many moments when it was like taking myself to the gym where I was like, I don't want to do this. I do not want to do this, but I feel like I should. And one of my artist friends, Autumn Sky, who actually, there's a little sticker on there that says "You're doing great" that she gave me. So I want to say a shout out to her in case she ever sees this. But she's like one of my favorite artists in all of life ever. She's amazing. And she had said, actually, here's some of her work. This is a sticker. A humpback whale. I love how humbling it's like this big, huge thing, and then putting into perspective the person. How beautiful and humbling is that? And she also has this sticker right here of an owl with the flower of life, and I just love her art. And she's such a beautiful soul, an amazing leader too. But my point was, what was my point? Oh, she had even said to me, she was like, sometimes I literally have to force myself to go and like put my paintbrush in my hand and go in my studio and paint. Like she has to force herself, even though it looks like such bliss and like, you know, like divine nectar. It is, but it takes work. And I know for me with my music too, like working on this album, there was many moments when I was like, I don't want to do this, but I'm just going to like try and at least, you know, put in like, as if it was my job, you know, like put in enough time and like do it. And there were many moments when it was hard, but then there was these moments of ecstasy, these moments of like, wow, what was that? And then I would like listen to it over and over and be like, whoa, and like get that high of that music magic, that medicine. And I'm so happy that like, because of technology, I can now like if I had lived in the time of the Spanish influenza, I would have had to like, you know, write something beautiful and then put it on sheet music, and then maybe you'll hear it the way that I hear it and felt it. But now we have this medium where like I can literally record it and like you can literally go and receive it, or I can make a video and you can literally like see my face and feel my energy and like boom, and it's so exciting. And on that note, I feel like we all have this amazing opportunity with all this technology to share our inspiration through music, through words, through art, through dance, through however it is that we feel inspired to communicate love and light and truth and depth. It's a beautiful opportunity that we have right here. And I could go on about this forever. I don't even know what the point of this live is. I'm just happy to just connect and show up and be a comfort and support to anyone out there who can benefit. Aw, thank you for all the nice hearts and the faces. You guys are so cute. It's powerful. Yeah. It's crazy how much we can relate to others through music and lyrics. I know. And, you know, I have to say that sometimes when I'm working on music, I can literally feel like other people's energies, where I can feel that like the song isn't mine. Like it's like, even though I might be writing from my little perspective of this human and my experience, I'm really like, I can sense often when I'm like, wow, this is totally resonates with this person's soul and that person's soul and this person's soul. And I usually try to avoid, like, I want to keep it as like, focused from my perspective as possible so that it can be unique. But at the same time, I recognize that it's collective, and like, there's so many songs that like, the spirit of the song is for so many of us, and I'm just the person who brought it through, and boom, now it's for all of us to like resonate with and connect with, and for it to work its medicine and magic and healing love through our lives in different ways. And, you know, I feel the same about so many creative outlets, whether it's art or music or books even. You know, I feel like there's so many books that have totally taken me on a journey and like changed my whole worldview, and like, it's amazing. So actually, I'm literally looking at some books that are the 3 books I have on my bookshelf. From so many years of traveling, I am like minimalist. Like I barely ever have a lot of things. The challenge for me right now is to like buy things and like collect. But so this is a big deal. I have 3 books. So I just want to show you some of the books I have in case you're looking for something good to read. So I'll start with number 1. This one is really great for soothing money worries or tuning into like a different like a different way of experiencing money. Of course, I'm a student of this, and I will say that I want to say that I suck at it at money, but I'm getting better and I'm trying my best. And so I'm humbled because like I told my mom to watch this, and there have been many times when I've had to ask her for money in times of like challenge, even recently. So this is kind of embarrassing, but the truth is that, you know, we're all a part of this interdependent web of support, kind of like trees. Like, you know, all of their roots are connected, and like when one tree needs medicine, the roots of all the different trees connect and send that one tree medicine. Same thing for mycelium. You know, we're all a part of this ecosystem, and I feel like that it's always been, but I feel like in the coming time, now that the economic systems we used to know are changing, I feel like more and more this feeling of interdependence, interconnection is going to continue to blossom and support all of us. And you know, I've had many times when I felt like, even though it was humbling and maybe I had to do something, I like ask for money, for example. There've been times when I've had to, in times of challenge, ask for help. And I've also gone through times of great abundance and times of great support. So I feel like I don't want you guys to think I'm like always struggling. I'm not. I definitely have felt very successful in many different ways and had a lot of beautiful experiences. But what I want to speak to is just that the challenges and the humbling aspects of financial challenge. I feel like sometimes it can provide an opportunity for healing. Sometimes it can provide an opportunity for a deeper connection, or like a for two people to exchange medicine that maybe they might not have exchanged if there hadn't been that reason or that opportunity to connect. So yeah, so I feel like this sense of honoring that, just like, you know, whether it's like the roots of trees or even blood in the body, like the sense that, like, you know, we're all, money is like this thing that connects us, and it's this energy of support and life force and love that connects us. And I feel like more and more in the coming time, now that the systems are in question, I feel like we have an opportunity to set the intention for what we really want to experience, you know, honoring the challenges, being humbled by them, learning from them, and moving forward. And this book is really awesome. This book actually is channeled, and it has a lot of experiences about it has a lot of perspectives that help with healing ourselves, like healing our minds, healing our energies, so that we can experience money in a different way. So I'm actually gonna just randomly read from it. And it says, view yourself as successful in the past as well as in the present and future. Think of a time in the past when you felt like a success. Remember those circumstances and feelings. The more you remember past successes, the more you will create success in the future. Look back at how you have handled yourself in the past and see that there was a higher wisdom in all of your choices. Some choices led you to grow, some led you to change your life, and all were the best you knew how to make at the time. Even though you may not have understood why you made certain choices, these choices still assisted you. As you look back from the perspective of your now wiser self, you can see that even choices you thought were bad taught you much and made you the person you are today. If you are not happy with your circumstances right now, realize that you can make new choices from now on and begin to change your circumstances for the better. And there's a mantra: I forgive myself, knowing that I did the best I knew how to do at the time. You know, it makes me think of Oprah and Maya Angelou and how they say that, you know, when you know better, you do better. And I think that perspective, although humbling, can help us with moving forward in this time, like to have more compassion for ourselves and each other. And yeah. Oh my gosh, that is the best book I have in the whole series. They have meditations on their website too. Thank you. Yes. So yeah, I mean, what are the other ones? Like Opening to Channel, really good. Feel free to help me out if you have any ideas of other books by Sanaya Roman. They're so good. Living in Joy or something like that. Each one, like, these are literally like books that I just randomly will just like go and be like, I am magnetic to my higher good and it is magnetic to me. Okay, cool. Like it's like a reprogram for new world, new earth abundance. And I've had some big financial miracles happen thanks to really working with this book. And it reminds me to like maybe make a habit of like forcing myself to daily read this, because maybe it would help my situation and my programming of my reality to not have to ask for help. Although truly we're all interdependent, so it's all good. But I do want to be a channel of as much abundance and love and prosperity and generosity as I can in this life. So I'm committed to that. Are you creating a new album? So the album is done. So it's on I'll write the link here. It's on my Bandcamp right now, corefloormusic.bandcamp.com. And it will be on Spotify, but in a few months. The only thing is that I have to get it professionally mastered, or I want to before I put it on Spotify, and that I need to be in person for. And because of social distancing, I can't yet. So I'm just trusting that all the coordinates and circumstances will flow perfectly. But yeah, and could you put your old albums? Thank you. Yes, I want to put them on. It's a price thing. So speaking of money, I am calling in money to put them up there because I have to. It costs like how much? It's on TuneCore. So for anyone out there who's interested in putting their music on Spotify, either CD Baby, TuneCore, there's different websites like that where you can just literally upload and it gets on all the streaming platforms. And yeah, and it's great. So for me, I would just need, I think, about $50 per album ish, I think. And I don't know what the prices are right now. Maybe it was 35. So I'm to be honest, I've not had a huge abundance in the last little while. But if that changes, as soon as it does, I will definitely put it up there. So I want to show you some other, I feel like a little emotional about it. So I'm going to just let that be. But yeah, I mean, money, it is what it is. And I think that it's mysterious and magical. And I want to learn how to have more of it and use it wisely in the coming time. So the next book that I have for you is Soul Retrieval by Sandra Ingerman. And this one I actually found recently. I found it in like one of the neighborhood. Okay, I feel like I'm bypassing my feelings. So I'm just going to like hold space for my emotions and not just like bulldoze them. That's the term when you're just like emotional. You're like, I don't feel it. I'm just going to focus on something else. Yeah, I think I just feel tender about money and yeah, it's I think it's a vulnerable spot for a lot of people. But yeah, for me personally, I it can be hard, and I also take responsibility for my experience. But yeah, and so I don't know. Oh man, it's like I could just cry right now, and I'm not sure why. So it might be good for me to take some time to maybe think about this and do some healing work around it. Yeah, I think I just feel vulnerable. I feel vulnerable, and it's vulnerable asking for help, and it's vulnerable. It's vulnerable putting yourself out there. Like I will say that, like being a musician and like making these things that are like my soul, like and putting them out there and being like, and you should pay for it, or you can pay for it if you want. It's vulnerable, and then I think too, like I think I'm just not sure. Like I think I'm not sure how to do it successfully, especially now in the time when everything is shifted from like the very solid business structure of like CDs and touring and other stuff. But those things in themselves could sustain a lifetime, a life really well. But with the internet, coming in, suddenly it's like, whoa, okay. Suddenly CDs aren't really a thing unless you're like a collector, and the other ways of making music or making money online with music are challenging. Like even streaming, like I don't really get that much, to be honest. It's like pennies, well, dollars and pennies. So yeah, and I do know that there's resources to learn how to do this successfully. Like there's the Online Musician is a course that I've been wanting to take, but again, it's like a price thing. And she's kind of figured out this whole thing around Facebook ads and finding your niche market and your super fans, and then making stuff that they love, and encouraging that interdependent, connection to flow. But again, it's cost. All these things are like costs that I'm like, I'm just working with the circumstances I have and just trusting that like when it's time for me to do something, the right money and support will come in. So yeah. Wow, so emotional. This is so embarrassing. Okay, let me hear. So yes, it will be on iTunes. Thank you. When it changes, money's on the way. Thank you. Yeah, I hear you. I think everyone is in the vulnerable money situation right now, either physically or even just thinking about it, being like, whoa, like what? And I feel like especially I mean, I'm thankful that Canada, there's like they've mentioned some really great support systems. So I hope that it is similar in the States, and that support will flow for all of us, and maybe it'll move us more towards a basic income type society where everyone is supported no matter what with their basic needs. And then, you can do what you feel inspired to do, and if you want to make more money, you can do more work, but like to know like you will be supported to be alive if you so wish. That to me, I love that perspective. Thank you for the good money vibes, and sending lots of good money vibes to you guys too. I'm sorry that was kind of like weird and embarrassing for me to go into that, but I don't know. It's a time of healing and shadow work and being vulnerable, and I just felt like just being vulnerable because it came up. So I feel better now. So and so I'm going to go into the next few books. So I have Soul Retrieval. So this one I found like on the street, and it's amazing. It's by this woman, Sandra Engerman, and it's about shamanic soul retrieval. So going on shamanic journeys to help retrieve parts of people that were fragmented either from trauma or from different challenges in life. And I love it because this is like, I on my new album, I'm singing a lot about that sort of healing work because I've been doing it personally and been witnessing it and learning about it from people around me as well. Just recognizing that we all have parts of us, and whether that's on the full-on spectrum of like dissociative identity disorder, DID, which I'm fascinated by. And I have some friends who have it, or at least one friend in person. I also love, I have to say, I love the YouTube videos about dissociative identity disorder. I'm fascinated with it because I feel like it's this example, it's this very, full spectrum version of something that many of us have, like on some level, like we have different parts of us that are sometimes in conflict, and it's through healing them into harmony that we actually can experience a resolution or shift our energetics or shift our minds and be able to like experience life in a new way. And so like, I know from a therapeutic perspective, parts work is a big thing, like where, for example, working with the inner child, or like the part of me that likes this and the part of me that likes this, or, whatever the conflicts. So anyways, this kind of thing from a shamanic perspective, but she also has really cool psychological perspectives, is awesome for learning more about that and learning about how to come into harmony and like experience that rainbow of who we truly are, and in like a beautiful song, instead of being like, but to actually like, and I feel too that the more healing we can do within ourselves, the more we have the capacity to heal together with other beings. It's I wanted to say like all life and all of us, but yeah. And all right, I wanted to say beings and people because I feel like it's not just even humans; it's also with all life. So yeah, shadow work, yep, and being vulnerable connects us on a deeper level and makes us feel less alone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being like such a great buddy on this live. Your support is really great, and everyone, thank you so much for your comments. All in divine timing. Awesome. And so the third book I'd love to show you is by one of my musical heroes, Ani DeFranco. This book is awesome. So you probably know Ani DeFranco. She just released this book like last year, and it was because she had kids. And so because kids are often wanting attention and kind of stuff, it gave her all this like less time to work on music and more time to like have these little bursts of like time to just write. And so she found that she was collecting all this information, and it's so good. She's such a good writer. She's so poetic. What can I do? I want to just like share something random that like I thought was really beautiful. Okay, here we go. Just a random thing I highlighted. Okay, so relevant. She says, the act of sharing songs with people while looking straight into their eyes, that is what compelled me. I craved that feeling of trust and understanding that develops between people who are being totally real with each other. I was searching through music for the experience of family. And isn't that kind of what we're doing right now? Literally with my mom potentially on the live, and all of you guys. I mean, we are a human family. And yeah, so thank you for being a part of this experience. And I noticed some kind of comments. I'm just going to touch base on this. So Dimitar, shadow work, people must know how to do it. And yeah, I think that like I'll speak about my perspective on it, and I can't say what anyone else's version of it, but for me, shadow work is, it's not like a Ouija board. No, I'm not into any of that stuff. And in fact, when it comes to spirit world, I am very safe because I'm humbled that I don't know what's out there, and I always pray for protection. I always pray to be surrounded in light, and I always pray to only share messages that serve the highest good of all, or just I just keep my prayers really positive because I'm aware that we're in a field of so much potentiality and power, and I'm very much, I am a light worker. Um, and that being said, to me, shadow work is more about looking at my own personal unconscious, looking at my own areas of myself that I might feel ashamed of, or that I keep in the dark, or that I'm, because like I feel like I said earlier on this live, like there are times when I go online and I just like I'll like make an effort to like look nice, put on nice makeup, and like have like nice angles and lighting, and then I'll show you the version of me that I want you to see. But then when I turn it off, and then I'm my real person, I poo, I fart, I say swear words, I get triggered, I sometimes look like an ugly mess, and whatever. And sometimes even internally, like sometimes I feel like I have emotions come up that I'm like, ooh, this is dark. Like I feel anger around this, or I feel this dark emotion that, and by dark, I mean, it's just something that's less acceptable by society. And so for me, shadow work is about lovingly integrating that, like lovingly giving that space to be heard and felt and loved and expressed in safe ways. So for me, that's journaling, music, therapy, healing work, like with the therapist or with healers or whatever. But really just like providing a safe outlet for those energies to be expressed and integrated. Because again, back to parts, like very often, if we're in a society that says this is good and this is bad, if there's a part of us that's like, well, I actually kind of, I feel like this, so am I bad? In this sort of duality, it's like it can be very polarizing for us, and then it can make us fragment and totally disown a part of us that maybe might have some medicine. And I feel like it's from the space of like having these wide open, warm, loving angel wings, like God, like spirit, like the source of it all, to love it all. It's from that space that we can come into a real authenticity of like compassion for ourselves and compassion for other people, to recognize that like even if I judge like selfishness as bad, there's several more fingers pointing back at me for me to look at, oh, well, are there any parts of me that are selfish? And can I maybe love that? And maybe when I do love and understand and have compassion for that, maybe then I can have more love and understanding and compassion for others around me and be able to live more in harmony. And yeah, because I do feel like the energy of like, no, you're bad, that doesn't really, I mean, maybe it works for the moment of like, get away from me if need be. But like when it comes to actually healing, it's way better to recognize like, okay, this is all God, this is all love, and this is a version of God, this is a soul that's manifested to experience something. And so it's like, if I recognize that that's a part of God and that's a part of love, if I can actually just like love and bless it, and perhaps say some prayers to like help higher forces and higher love and higher light help and bring blessings to it, it can ultimately be more beneficial than just casting it to jail or darkness or whatever. So yeah, so that's just me. I'm no expert. I'm just, me. But if that helps you, great. And if not, feel free to go to flow and research and find whatever does give you a sense of resonance and authenticity and that golden thread of truth that you might be looking for. Awesome. I love doing shadow work when it's a sophomore year in high school. That's awesome. Yeah. Right on. To say thank you so much for your healing music. Aw, vlog made me feel connected. Ah, thank you, Impulse. And I have to say too, and I don't know if that's your real name, but I just want to say thank you as well for everyone who's like watched them and made comments, because as well, like when I'm creating this stuff, like it's therapy for me too. And then having it be witnessed by other people and having it, support other people in some way is so awesome, and it makes it so worth it. It helps me feel less alone, and like I'm not the only one too. So thank you, because we're in it together and in it to win it. You used illumination as musical meditation to heal and merge masculine and feminine aspects. Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. I don't know why I'm doing this, but even the prayer hands, it makes me think of union, union of spirit and matter, soul and body, feminine, masculine. I mean, dark and light. Even it just makes me think of this sort of coming into oneness, that union. Because even when I think of like God, spirit, source, like when we return to source, it's like we come back to that space where we're all one. And I feel like the more that we can access that within the individuated human experience, the more that then we can have medicine to bring to the different individuations all around us. And yeah, Impless, impless, impless. That's so pretty, impless. I'm sorry. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. I typically pronounce things wrong in my head first. I went to French immersion in high school in Canada, or sorry, in elementary and high school in Canada. So my mind always pronounces things French first. So that's already, it makes things weird. But yeah, I'm sorry. I pronounce things weird often at first. Thank you. Thank you. That's so kind. Well, I'm in a reflection. So yeah, sending it right back to you. And yeah, thank you guys so much for being on this live. This has been a while. What time is it? Oh shoot, I gotta go. I was supposed to talk to someone 20 minutes ago, so I'm gonna go. But yeah, nice to see you guys here. Sending you lots of love. Thank you for being in my community. And I encourage you guys, like, make videos, get on lives, share, because it's this connection through the internet, the mycelium network, the trees, the blood of love connecting us all. Even technology is a part of it. So I encourage you to share, because the world needs your love and light and your truth, your depth at this time.